Hi guys, Mel here with another bolt action update for you, and once again I got in by the skin of my teeth. So, my last video, I pledged to get 2 support teams and a forward observer done, and I've got them done. Yeah, now I know you can't really see them there. Yeah, so I got him done as well. What I'll do is I'll pick up some photos and I'll show you those in a moment. Yeah, I also decided, since I mentioned Orde Wingate at the end of, sort of the last show, yeah, I got him painted up as well. Yeah, so I'll show you some pics. In fact, here are the pics. I'm quite proud of him, and I do love the Orde Wingate model. Now, if you don't know who Orde Wingate was, he was the guy in charge of the Chindits, and he was the one who actually set the Chindits up. He's quite an interesting guy. Now, he's quite controversial, and I don't know enough about him to sort of have an opinion on that yet. Okay, but he was a military genius. Previous in his military career, he was in Palestine, he was in the Sudan, and he spent a lot of time working with local troops, yeah, natives as they call them, and sort of setting up defense forces and also doing long range, deep behind enemy line attacks in the Sudan against the Arabs. Yeah, and this is where he sort of formulated the idea for the Chindits. Now, he was a military genius, but he was also a grade A lunatic. Yeah. Now, when I was researching, I come across a few references about he liked to be nude, naked, in the buff. Okay, and I sort of correlated that to, the Chindits. A lot of them were naked on the marches back because of dysentery and their clothes being wet. And I simply put it down to that. Until I carried on researching, I found out that long before he was with the Chindits, he liked to be naked. Yeah, so he's a bit of a character. Now, there's a few other things. He liked to eat raw onions. Yeah, like they were apples. He was often seen entering the mess completely naked with an alarm clock hanging around his neck to remind him how precious time was. Yeah, and there was one quote that I saw on a lecture from the British Army Museum lectures from a guy who's writing a book on Chindits, and he said the quote, I can see if I can remember the quote, but he was quoting one of the Chindits, and he said, Wingate liked to give orders to his officers whilst completely naked, at the same time brushing his pubic hair with a toothbrush, not necessarily his toothbrush. Okay, so a grade A lunatic. Yeah, to be truthful, the more I find out about him, yeah, the more I love him. Yeah, but he was good at his jobs and he was loved by his troops. He really was, because he went through everything with them. There were no different standards for officers. He expected the officers to do what he wanted for the Chindits. And it was Waverley got him involved to set up the Chindits to go into Burma behind the Japanese lines and do what they do. Yeah, partly as a bit of buying time and an action thing, and partly to support 14th Indian Army's attack into, yeah, Burma. That was supposed to be the plan. So, yeah, now he created the Chindits and he named them after the Chinthi, which is a fabulous dragon, which is an ornament outside the pagodas, the Burmese temples. Okay, but he couldn't pronounce it properly, so that's why they weren't called Chinthis, they were called Chindits. Okay, so a little bit of background for you, and I'm going to talk more about him formulating the Chindits in the next video. Yeah, but I do love him. I really do love him. He's a right character. And I had a genuine blast. The models are beautiful. Yeah, they really are. Yeah. Obviously, with regards to our bases, if you didn't know, we get a few comments on them. Yeah, we're keeping them basic dirt because we're not going to add any other flocks and foliages until we finalise the terrain so we can tie it into the terrain. So if you're wondering why our bases are a bit sort of bare, that's why. Now, moving forward, yeah, what to pledge next. Now, we've already organised our first proper get-together. Dave's coming down from Scotland. Sorry, no, Dave's coming up from Birmingham. John's coming down from Scotland. And we're getting together the day before we go to Derby Worlds. We're going to Derby Worlds on Sunday. We're getting together on the Saturday, hopefully with Mike. Yeah, and we're going to have a whole day of playing bolt action, actually get the forces on the table. So we'll be videoing that and that sort of stuff, no doubt. But I'm a little bit concerned. You see, when I set the army up, I went very historical, because I'm a bit retentive like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I suddenly realised that everyone else got tanks. the big nasty stuff, yeah. And I was like, I haven't got any tanks. I'm gonna get slaughtered. Yeah, but Mike was telling me that in No Quarter Given, which is a book about the Chindits, there's a section of it which talks about an engagement where they were working with, I think it was M3 Stuarts. Yeah, so tanks were present. So I've done a little bit more research, and within the 14th Army, there were actually a couple of tank brigades. Yeah, you got the 50th Indian Brigade, which was sort of early War One, that ran straight the way through to the end of the Pacific conflict. You got the 254th and the 255th, which were sort of later war Indian brigades. You'd also got the in the 14th Army. I've got little notes down here. See, I'm smart. Yeah, you got the 18th Field Regiment, which was self-propelled artillery, and you've got the Indian 6th Light Cavalry, which were Humber and Daimler cars. And it's quite possible that these would have been supporting the Chindits sort of late operations and that sort of stuff. So that's my avenue. So I need to get some tanks. So with regards to what I'm pledging, yeah, more than likely I'm going to be pledging a section of Gurkhas because that's what I've got. Okay, and I need to get models on the table, but I need to get my hands on some armour, some artillery, some little drive around cars. And on top of that, yeah, Warlord have just announced, yeah, and they've just announced that they've done a Sir Christopher Lee model. Now, Sir Christopher Lee was a forward air observer with the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas were attached to the Chindits. So, also, yeah, he worked with Orde Wingate, yeah, in the desert before Orde Wingate got to the Chindits. So there's a good tie. Now I'm really pleased about this because, Dave, your dog's fine. Yeah, I'm really pleased about this because it was actually my suggestion. You know, I sort of suggested and put it on the Bot Action Forum. Yeah, and so I didn't expect it to come around this soon. So I'm going to be badgering Warlord to send me a model. Yeah, that I can sculpt a pith hat on or a Chindit hat on. Yeah, for my Chindit forces, so I can get Count Dooku in my Chindits. Yeah, so it's a lot going on. I'm really keen. So basically, yeah, I'm up to date. I've hit the target. No real life passes. Pledging Gurkhas, but I'm looking to get armour and that sort of stuff ASAP. Yeah, fingers crossed before actually the game. Yeah, I don't know if we can pull it off though. So we will have to see. So that's my update. Who's next? It was it should be watching John next with an update to his Marine. So he'll be doing an update on Wednesday, and then more than likely we'll have another live show. Yeah, so I'll see you soon, guys. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra.